Good evening. So I want to talk about this. There was a question from a viewer, and I'm going to read the question, of course. So this is the question. Do you think or know that all spirits of those who died from the needle know that the needle was the cause? Or may there be some who do not know and stay as ignorant as they were in their lifetime? Well, I know something about this, thanks to my mother. You see, my mother is deceased, and her sister is also deceased. And my mother is in contact with me quite regularly, especially in the beginning, just after she died, right? But regularly, I would say maybe once every second week or something, I talk to my mother. So my mother told me that she and her sister, they talk about this thing. What is going on here on Earth with this medical experiment? And they are pissed off about it, see. And I think maybe especially my mother, see, she doesn't like this at all. Now my mother, she was a very caring person, a fantastic mother, fantastic grandmother, right? She really cared about her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, you see. So just imagine, and her son died. My big brother died because of the needle. And she is very upset about what's happening. And she knows these grandchildren are getting the needle. Not my children, but all the other ones, I think. There's quite a few of them, these grandchildren. And I think they all got the needle, right? So, of course, she's very upset about this. And another thing, she told me this, when my father joins them, my father is still alive, and he took all the needles, right? He takes all the needles he can get, right? So when he joins them, they will talk to him about this. That's what my mother told me. So I'm just hoping that most of these spirits, when they end this lifetime because of the needle, somebody will talk to them. I think there's a big possibility. There's a lot of attention on this thing, not just from us, also those on the other side, they have a lot of attention on this. I know this. Right. Now, there's another thing that I thought of, and that's, when a stupid person dies, he sort of remains stupid when he's dead. I have seen this, I have observed this. See, I'll give you just one example of this. There was this guy that I used to know, and maybe he wasn't stupid, right? But it was awkward. He was not a nice guy, right? And he died. He got cancer. This is many years ago. So he got cancer and died. And then I wanted to contact him. See? I just got curious to see what happened to him, how he was. Right? So I started calling for him. Now I remember this. I used to go shopping, for instance, right? And I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't doing anything, you see, just walking, right? And there were, I called for him to see if he would show up. And he did, right? And immediately I noticed he was the same. He was this awkward guy, see? So that's, they don't really change. Yeah, there's another example I can tell you about, actually. There was another guy that I used to know long time ago. And he was sort of numb, this guy, you see? Emotionally sort of handicapped, sort of stuck emotionally, this guy. I used to know him quite well many, many years ago, decades ago. And then he died, and then I got in contact with him years later, after he died, years later. I got in contact with him, maybe 15 years later, you know. And he was the same. You know. It was amazing to see this. It was just like he was, emotionally sort of stuck. You know. Yeah, I think this is very strange, you know, but that's what I have observed. Now I'm thinking about my mother, for instance. Of course, I recognize her very, very well, but she's also more relaxed. You know, something happened to her after dying. After a while, I noticed she was much more relaxed than she was when she was alive. So I was thinking that they would change in some way. Maybe they do. But I noticed this, that they are basically, well, they are very similar, at least, to what they were like when they were alive. So I don't think they just die from the needle and then realize exactly what happened. So I don't think so. I'm quite sure of it. They don't have this awareness, you see. Right. Yeah, that's all for this evening. All right. Be good.